And now, introducing Casey Carter.
I got what you need, I got what you want, I got what you need, tell them giddy up. I got horses in the back, trunk in the front, exterior red and that inside buttercup. I got what you need, I got what you want, I got what you need, tell them giddy up.
Erotic boudoir, adult, intimate, sexy, sensual. Allow AJ and Nick, the dynamic mother-daughter team, to assist you in customizing a personal pleasure package tailored to your intimate needs. They are highly knowledgeable and offer a professional touch. You can visit their store located at 2635 West Girard Avenue in Philadelphia, or browse more discreetly on their website at erotic-boudoir.com. And please be assured that both AJ and Nick are available to answer any questions you may have. Erotic Boudoir, helping you prioritize your pleasure.
I'd even mentioned Jay. Hey! Hi! Sorry, we're busy chatting away. I was telling my beautiful guest here, I was telling Tyomi about the ever faithful fan, Jason, who was already there when I did the other 2 minutes there that was kind of funky. And he's here for the restart. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you being here. And so I was telling Tyomi I had to do my cue cards because
I'm here for it.
Without my cue cards, it's easy for me to get distracted and fly off course or whatever. But having her here, I knew I was going to especially have to have notes. So, here's my notes. So, okay, last week's guests were amazing. Lady V, and I had to write Lady V and D. And let me tell you why I had to write Lady V. Because last week, I know girlfriend's name. I know her name. But I also know a woman by the name of Lady D.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So all show, I kept saying Lady D, Lady D. I mean Lady V. I never messed V's name up. Never. Never. Except for that day. Except for that day. So I wanted to make sure I wrote it down. So shout out to Lady V.
What's
and
up,
D.
Sis? What's up, bro?
DV Passion.
Yes.
We talked a little about what they do with their face sitting stuff.
Oh, yes.
And so we're going to have them back where we can arrange a demonstration.
It's going to be a treat.
I know.
I love watching them do it.
Listen, I was trying to tell folks, y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. I got to prep you for that. So, yeah. And then I had Duchess Cashmere. Are you?
Oh, yes.
You know Duchess Cashmere?
I do know Duchess. Shout out to you, girl.
Yes. So she was the accompanying guest. And it was very intentional that I picked her. Because knowing I was going to have V and D with their face sitting, I wanted Cashmere to give me a face sitting piece.
Oh, I know that was hot. I know that was hot.
And you know what's crazy? She said she's never sat on anyone's face before.
What?
When you hear her piece, and she told us that afterwards.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, sound like you've been there, done that, and could teach lessons.
Exactly. That's how you know a good writer. Somebody who can literally put it into words, even if they haven't experienced it, and they can make you feel like you just had the experience. Like, shout out to you.
Yes, because she had the right adjectives for the sound effects, the experience, the what it must look like, feel like, taste like, smell like. She had them all the senses.
Wow. Oh.
It was dope. It was so dope. But today, and I'm sorry, my hand is cold. Okay. I'm gonna especially touch you because your hands are so fucking warm. Oh my God.
My body runs hot.
Yes. Okay. And it's funny because the temperature. Okay, first of all, let me just for a minute. So we are in my house, right? Like,
I have beautiful, by the way.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Understand how special this is, because on a regular basis, I don't invite people in my house.
I feel special.
Listen, I did this show with Marla. I took Marla to my mom's house. I didn't even bring her to my house. I had her do the show with me at my mom's house.
Wow.
Yeah. So you are the first person I've allowed to come. Not the first person allowed to come in my house, but the first person that like I invited to come in here and do the show with me. So, yeah. Okay. So anyway, so that's the other thing. I'm just gonna like hug up on her all night,
the whole time. This is what we do. This is what we do.
Yes,
and
yes.
We can't help it.
No. So anyway, see, this is why I have this. I forget. So I have like very meticulously picked people to do the show with, and because this is very important to me, CaseyAtNight is an extremely important outlet for me. And I have sort of been grooming it over the years. And one of the things I really wanted to do was to have live guests. Yeah. And I finally am in a place now where I'm able to have live guests. And then I've sort of been very meticulously curating the people I had. Last year, I did it for a couple months. Exotica started. I ain't had time for all of this. I just showed up every week and was like, okay, gotta go, bye. But this year I wanted to do more because of last year's Exotica. I met a ton of people. So I'm bringing on some of those people to the show.
Makes sense.
But you were on a list. I legit have a list. Like,
ooh, I like being on a list when it's a good list.
Yeah.
I like being on a list.
It's a good list. It's a good list. But you were on the list, and I thought I had my notebook here, but I must have put it away. But like, I was going to show you, like, I legit have a list, and I've been crossing the names. So, because last year, I asked King and Jasmine, and they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay."
I love them.
Yeah. So I'm like, very slowly, and I didn't want to stack all my friends. And I'm like, fuck it. What do you have friends for? Stack them.
Exactly. Stack them.
I want folks to be like, can I get on that show? So,
exactly.
So anyway, I am so tickled that you not only said yes, but that you came to my house because you were in town.
I am here.
Poor girl got turned around in Atlanta, but that's what them Atlanta highways do. That's what they do.
I am here, though.
Yes, you're here.
I was like, relax, stop yelling.
Yeah, right. And, because that was the thing. She sent me a message, an audio message, and I was like, you're fine. You're fine.
Relax. I was like, okay.
When you get here, it's my goddamn show, and it goes on when I say it does. So
yes.
we're good. It's fine. I
have nowhere else to go but home tomorrow morning.
So, Tyomi Morgan, I had you give me a piece for Women's History Month because March is Women's History Month. And the theme for this year's Women's History Month, I don't know if you knew Women's History Month has themes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. This is what I learned.
Oh.
This is what I learned. Toxic Goddess says, hey, honey.
Hey, what's up, Toxic Goddess?
So this year's theme, as soon as I find it, is providing healing, promoting hope.
Oh.
Yes. And so this is why I wanted to collect some thoughts on the healing powers of sex work.
Oh, makes sense now. Because I was like...
Right? Like, why did I? Because, I know we do what we do, right. But there was a method to that madness. And so you gave me this wonderful piece. And one of the things I liked about your piece was that I didn't know where it was going to go. I just told people, this is what I want from you. Mm-hmm. And I let everybody say whatever they were going to say. I had London and another submissive by the name of Slave Nikki, Sassy Nikki. Mm-hmm. And I put their two pieces together because they talked about sex work from a submissive's point of view, which was really, really very unique.
Right, because we don't hear that often.
Right. And so your words what I loved about them is that you took the position of what it did for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ooh, I love that, because that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
So, like, what was your train of thought?
Well, I do everything for myself first, because otherwise I'm not living for me. And so it's been a journey for me, because I remember being very young and being attracted to sexuality and like watching documentaries and reading books with permission from my mom, like the Kama Sutra, which was like, it's very poetic and everything. So it wasn't like, she didn't think of it like as a raunchy thing.
Right.
Because my mom, she says she's not a prude, but she's conservative.
Okay.
I would say she's a conservative. She's not prude, because I'd be like, well, how? I was like, don't tell me how you even found out about that, but I'm glad that you know about it. So, it's been a journey for me, and like my 20s was filled with exploration and just learning, trial and error, and even just stepping into sex work and what that looks like. Because there's so many like different ways that you can flex sex work. Right. I know like sex educators don't consider themselves sex workers, but I mean, if you work within the field of sex, you are a sex worker.
Yeah.
Even if you are academic,
yeah,
you're doing sex work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially when social media outlets will shut you down. Yeah. You're included. I learned that the hard way. Yeah. So.
And because, there's this thing where people, it's like I say faux hierarchy, because I'm just like, no one created that. But, so for me, it was about what it does for me, mm-hmm. and helping me just embrace who I am, because my sexuality is a very deep part of who I am, but it's also tied into my spirituality. Mm-hmm. And so I noticed that once I started becoming more deeply entrenched in my spiritual practices, it's just like my sexual energy also shifted and changed. And so also, like, as I started exploring and opening up more and just seeing the different ways that I could flex my sexuality and also assisting and like helping others, it showed me like, oh, there's more to this. Like, I'm naturally gifted with my hands and just like, healing touch. And so being able to incorporate erotica into that and doing body work, that wasn't something that I thought I could actually do and make money doing, mm-hmm. until people started saying, if you're not making money doing massages, you need to be. And so I just jumped in, and I realized like every person's going to have their own unique way of doing things. Right. And so I used to judge myself a lot, like, well, I'm not like this person, or I don't think like that. And I was like, but you don't have to, mm-hmm. because there are people who you're meant to show up for, and they resonate with your energy, with your voice, with how you see the world. And so just be yourself. And so it feels good to say like, I'm a sex worker, because it's liberating. And I felt like I live freer than a lot of people. Right. Because sex is the one thing, and sexuality is the one thing that I feel people are so afraid of. Yeah. Because they don't know like what's behind the veil, and you know what I mean? But when you pull it back, you realize that there's freedom back here. Right. And spaces of non-judgment. Like the first time I ever went to Exotica, the first Exotica in Chicago, I was hooked, because I was like, if I could go to this convention and feel comfortable, then I know I could be in this business. And then boom, here I am 10 plus years later.
We'll circle back on the Exotica part.
Yes, but I just, I don't think people connect how sex work can be healing for the practitioner themselves. Mm-hmm. And it is. It's just very freeing, and it allows me to express myself in stages, in many different ways. Like, I'm a kinkster, I make erotic content, I'm a nude model, I'm so many expressions within sexuality. And so to know that, number one, I can make money doing the stuff that I like to do, and just being authentic and embraced by it. And then also knowing that, like, on the education side, in what I do in sex work, it touches so many people. Like, right. Literally was out with my friends on Wednesday, and they have a friend that's a police officer in Atlanta, and he came to sit with us, and like he took a moment and was like, "Can I be a fan?" I was like, "What?" He was like, "I know you. I know who you are. You're Glamour Erotica, right?" I was like, "Oh, shit."
Right.
So you don't know just how far your work reaches and who it touches and how it impacts their lives. And so if it's healing for me first, then I know it's going to be healing for others. And like, that's where that train of thought came from.
Which, again, totally resonates with me. I think one of the times I realized you and I were going to be besties, whether you knew it or not, was I was reading something about your history. They didn't see. They didn't see. But I was reading something about your history, the sort of origin story of Tyomi, and we're going to get to that after the video and the commercial break. But I'm reading it, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, there's a lot of what you say that's me. There's a lot of what you have gone through that I'm like, is me. And, you know, it was good because in that moment, I was still kind of second guessing. Like you said, you know, I don't do what they do and I don't say what they say. And so hearing you, I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Like,
I appreciate that.
Because more than anything, what I kept saying was, I'm not changing. I'm not changing.
Right.
But I also have to acknowledge that I don't sound like that, and it's okay, especially because I wasn't going to change. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to refashion who I was to fit what everybody else appeared to be doing.
That part, like, I can't change the color of my skin. I will not change my body drastically. Like, I have a very special relationship with my body where my weight goes up and down, and I embrace and I accept that. But I was like, I'm not going to try to drop a bunch of weight and lighten my skin and do all these things and change I'm like, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. Plus, there's a whole community of women who look like me.
And they need to see
And they need to see me.
Right.
Because they need to see themselves and understand what is possible.
Right.
They may not fashion themselves and like open up as much as I'm open, but to see the possibility of what it could look like, to be open sexually and be smart and charismatic and beautiful and classy and sexy and all the things. It's like, it just shatters people's perception of what it means to be a sex worker, what it means to be sexually liberated, and to be a sexy Black woman. Because there's a lot of things that people assume about us and they place on us without even knowing us.
Yeah.
So people make these assumptions about me, and I just be like, oh, I'll just keep smiling. Like, okay, all right, whatever. Yeah, you want to think.
Yeah, and you know, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of allowing people's comments to go in one ear and out the other. Like I didn't hear the foolishness that you just said, and I've probably annoyed people, irritated, pissed off a lot of folks simply because I have a girl crush now is what Toxic just said. Yeah. Simply because I'm comfortable. I'm good with me. I fully embrace me. I would not have it any other way. And sorry, I'm just rolling through these real quick.
Yeah, it's cool.
And, you know, I have, from going to Exotica, met women who, when they saw me, were like, oh my God. And I'm like, me?
Yep.
And, you know, so it's important, this embracing of who we are. And, you know, I think, of course, not everyone is going to find their space in the world of sex work, but they need to feel that they can be whoever they are. Yeah. So I'm going to run Madam Gumbo's video.
Happy birthday!
It's Women's History Month, and I wanted to specifically have a conversation with you guys today about why sex work is so healing and why we need to have this conversation more about it. And we all came from intercourse, meaning that our parents had sex and it gave rise to us. And unfortunately, not all of us are as sexually free to understand our pleasures and ways of accessing our pleasure. And that's where sex workers come in. Sex workers provide the safe space for us to work through our sexual trauma. Sex workers also provide a safe space for us to learn our bodies. Sex is designed to be a sacred sex practice. So when we think about our sex workers, we have to look at them as healing practitioners. If you watch porn, you participate in sex work. And there's all kinds of ways in which we access sex work for free, and we think that is okay. If you could participate in it, you could be an advocate for sex workers by simply just paying for the content. So be open-minded to how you celebrate Women's History Month and consider sex work as healing and a part of that movement. This has been Madam Gumbo. Peace.
Gigi.
Happy
Madam
birthday.
Gumbo, happy birthday.
Okay, did you see girlfriends all up in Mexico doing the damn thing?
Listen,
I ain't
living
even
her
gonna be
best
mad.
life. I'm
Ain't
not
gonna be mad. It's celebrating all them 43 years. Gonna hit, girl.
Live it up. We
Yes.
love you.
Yes. Mwah. I had her on 2 weeks ago. Like she was, two shows ago. Had her on with Erotic Boudoir, Nick and her mom AJ, and that was a ton of fun.
She has been an influential, integral part of my life over the last few years.
Get out
because
now.
She's an astrologer, and but she also is a conduit. So, and I've seen this happen where she just be channeling stuff, And I met a sister when I met her, but she has just gotten me through some of the darkest times of my life with just her spiritual guidance.
Right.
And I'll just be like, whatever you need, I am here for you.
Well, and I love her energy. That's the part of Gigi that I think I immediately connected with, is that energy. I love good energy, and
she got a lot of it.
Right. And here's what's funny is her D&V, I met them at Exotica, and at the time didn't even really know that they were here in Atlanta, but they seemed to know who I was, and I was like, okay, all right, fam.
Who don't know who Casey Carter is?
Stop. But but it was the energy that I got from her, even from them, in the meeting. I'm like, oh yeah, I need that in my life. I need folks who, when they see you, are super excited, who support whatever, and so
cheerleaders. We all need a tribe of cheerleaders.
Yes, we do.
Because
we do.
I've seen how the absence of that affects people. Because I've had cheerleaders all my life. My family is they're really supportive, and my sister's my biggest fan.
Right.
And so to know people who haven't had people being champions for them or cheering them on, I see how that's impacted them emotionally and how they show up in the world. So it's important to find a tribe of people who celebrate you.
You need a tribe. Find a tribe. It doesn't have to be huge.
It could be 2 people.
Yes.
It could be one person. Shoot. And then that person will bring people.
There you go. So I do this thing. You ready, Lorenzo? I do this thing called 5 Reasons to Watch Casey.
Okay.
So we're going to do that before we take a break and go into Tyomi's origin story. That's my thing now. I want to talk about everybody's origin story. Okay, all right. This is how I get distracted. So I am a huge Marvel fan.
Oh, okay.
Huge Marvel fan. I love an origin story. I love finding out how a person came to be. So yeah, that's my new thing now. It's origin stories. Okay, so we're going to flip over. Hey there, Lorenzo.
Hey, how are you?
All right, we're good. Okay, so we are ready for our 5 reasons to watch Casey. Are you ready, Lorenzo?
Yeah, let's give it to him.
Okay, hold on a sec. I have wardrobe adjustments. Okay.
You might get a double one today.
Don't start yet. Don't let them know. They're going to double what? Yes, just hold on. Okay. Okay, here we go. You want to give him the title again? Because I'm
Here we
stepping
go.
all over your stuff.
I got it. I
See what I'm
got it.
saying?
Yeah, the five reasons to watch Casey. Number 5, to hear Casey's sultry voice.
You know you love it. Sorry.
Yeah. Number 4, to see Casey's guns.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. Okay, hold on. There's a lot for going on for me today. Oops, sorry.
Number 3, to learn how to ride from the cowgirl herself, Tyomi Morgan.
Whoop, whoop.
Number 2, to hear Lorenzo read the 5 reasons to watch Casey.
And
number 1, what we've all been waiting for, the cleavage cam.
whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, so here's the deal. So I'm using my cleavage cam camera for something else. So I'm going to ask my guest if she would join me in stepping into the camera.
Oh yeah.
And
Uh-oh, watch out.
can't even see where I'm at.
Right,
There we
right.
go. There it is. Yes. Okay. All right, for the shenanigans. Okay. Okay. Yes, toxic. Boobs. Boobs.
Boobs. Boobs. Boobs.
All right, quick commercial break, y'all. We'll be right back. Erotic boudoir. Adult, intimate, sexy, sensual. Allow AJ and Nick, the dynamic mother-daughter team, to assist you in customizing a personal pleasure package tailored to your intimate needs. They are highly knowledgeable and offer a professional touch. You can visit their store located at 2635 West Girard Avenue in Philadelphia, or browse more discreetly on their website at erotic-boudoir.com. And please be assured that both AJ and Nick are available to answer any questions you may have. Erotic Boudoir, helping you prioritize your pleasure. And we're back. Okay. All right. My thing is sticking because I am so not doing this the way I normally do this, and it's gonna drive me crazy, and I'm afraid to do what I need to do to adjust it. All right, we're gonna make it work, people. We're gonna make it work. So first of all, Tyomi and I during the commercial break were busy talking about corsets and getting snatched and
Yes.
wasted and all of that stuff. So yeah, Casey's gonna start a little corset business.
I thought you already had one.
I don't. I'm working on it. I don't.
Y'all, I'm so blown right now.
I don't.
I'm so blown. I'm so blown right now. Like, what are you saying to me right now?
Yeah, I know.
What?
I know. That's a 2022 project.
Look, if you don't hurry up.
No, but you don't understand. Okay, being like full transparency. Like when I said to you that you're on my list for the course, for doing a corset, like that's no lie. Lorenzo and I were even talking about this. You're on my list. I even promised Gigi that I was going to hook her up with something.
Like I will model for you.
That's where I'm going.
Because like, so talking about my origin story.
Yes,
like,
let's get into it.
So after high school, I went to college. I went to fashion school. I went to Pratt Institute for about a year. The prestigious Pratt Institute to study fashion design.
I wanted to study fashion design. My mama wouldn't let me.
You know what? I'm so happy that my parents have always supported all the gifts that I have, because I have a lot. Some that I put to the side and I'll pick up later in time. But like drawing was something I've always done and been very skilled at. I used to draw a bunch of cartoon characters and stuff like that. But designing clothes.
That was my thing.
Oh my gosh, my grandmother taught me how to like hand sew. It started with just like repairing my stuffies, because I collect stuffies. I'm also a little.
Okay.
My oldest stuffy is like 28 years old.
Oh my gosh.
No, excuse me. No. He's 30.
Oh.
He looks like a voodoo doll at this point. Everybody
From all the repair?
Man. Everybody's scared of this dude. Okay. He's like a little white man. He was a Bam Bam from the Flintstones.
Stop it.
But you can't tell now. He's 30 years old. And so he just sits on my shelf in my closet. But she taught me how to hand sew, just to prepare my stuffies. And then it turned into teaching me how to make clothes for my Barbies, because I had Barbie everything. Okay. And oh my God. The only thing I was upset that I couldn't get was the my size Barbie, because she was not my size. She was not my size. I've been big my whole life, it seems. So
yeah, I think by the time my size Barbie came out, I had grown out of Barbie.
Yeah.
But I had the hotel. I had all kinds of like cars and the camper. She had a camper.
I had the camper. I had the cruise ship.
Okay, I didn't have the cruise ship.
Baby, listen, it had a pool on the deck and everything. We used to put water in there. Like we used to set our room up like a Barbie village. And
my God.
We would have like the boat over there for like the vacation, and then like the condos right here, the penthouse, like everything. So I used to sew clothes for my Barbies, and then it just turned into me designing clothes. And in high school, I took all the fashion classes they had, and I started repurposing some of my clothes. Because, when you got thick thighs, your thighs rub together.
Ooh, listen.
They rub together, and the insides of your pants rip. So I learned how to turn my jeans into jean skirts.
There you go.
Yep. And so I made a bunch of jean skirts and like some other outfits and stuff. And then decided I wanted to be a fashion designer. Of all the things I wanted to be a music producer, because I played piano. I taught myself how to play since I was 7 and how to sight read. And I played the flute for a minute, so my sight reading got better.
My flute's in the bedroom now.
Oh my God. If you don't play that for me before I leave.
And my piccolo.
You have a piccolo?
I have a piccolo.
Oh, I just fell in love with you even more. Okay. Oh, please. Can you please?
I ain't got no music, but I will be more than happy to pull it out and do something.
Just do it. That'd be enough for me.
And believe it or not, it's my flute from 4th grade.
Oh my God. That's when I started playing the flute, was in 4th grade. And my sister took it through high school. I have a twin, y'all. Just so y'all know.
Nurse
so
Becky.
Nobody is like, you tell me I have a twin. She's the older twin. But yeah, she took the flute through high school. She was in the marching band and everything. So back to my fashion. So I used to want to be a doctor too. But I said, you can't be all these things. Pick one. So I picked fashion design, and I just went head first into that. Everything I did in high school was about fashion. And then I was like, well, what school do I want to go to? And I knew I wanted to go to New York. Parsons was in Midtown, and it didn't have a campus. I wanted that campus feel. And so I decided to go to school in Brooklyn, because Pratt had an actual campus. Okay. I didn't know it was like in the middle of the hood. Like Marcy Projects was like steps away from the campus. Yeah. And I used to work in Bed-Stuy.
Oh, wow.
Reading to kids. Like that was my work study. So after I left, I dropped out of college because, baby, it was expensive.
Yeah.
And you got, my parents have twins. So my sister was in nursing school. And even though I was studying fashion, when I was in that program, I started like questioning if that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And my English teacher, this black man who was like, he used to be a disc jockey on a radio station in like Buffalo, New York, but he ended up being a English professor as well at my school. He pulled me to the side one day. He was like, "What are you studying here?" It's like, fashion design. Why are you asking? He's like, "You are a prolific writer. I think you should be a writer." But I was like, okay, whatever. But I've been writing since I was 4. My aunt Nicole, God rest her soul, she was a poet and a writer and very influential in the Chicago writer scene and in New York scene. And also she used to be the person who would take care of Gwendolyn Brooks' writings because that was her mentor.
Okay.
And so she worked with her estate to lend her works out to any publications that wanted to reprint them or, anything like that. And so I remember at 4, she was like, and she gave me pencil and a piece of paper and was just like, write what you feel. And I still have those poems.
Oh my gosh.
I still have them. I wrote this poem and it was called I Get Down in the Beat.
Okay.
And it was like in the most kiddie handwriting ever, but it said, I get down in the beat, way, way down in the beat. I let it shake me, take me, spin me around. Oh, I get down. I get down.
Ah! The fuck just happened?
That was one of my poems. And so he said that. And I was just like, okay. But naturally, I was just like, well, I felt that my parents were having a hard time trying to like afford for me to go to expensive ass fashion school in New York. And my sister's in nursing school. And I still felt a little unclear. So I said, I'm just going to drop out. I'll go home to Chicago. I'll transfer to Columbia. I did that, but Columbia was trash in comparison to Pratt. I was like, I went from having 6 fashion classes to just 2. I was like, why am I spending almost the same amount of money? I'm good. And so I dropped out. But what I did was I stayed around campus and I participated in their clubs and stuff. And I started doing runway shows, fashion shows. And so I always wanted to be a model. But my parents didn't want me to do it when we were younger because predators and stuff like that. And they were like, no, focus on school. Academics is key.
Yeah. Sounds like a parent thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially like having parents that my dad's from the South and he moved up to Chicago when he was like 12, but he moved into the projects. And my mom is from the west side of Chicago and she lived in the projects where he moved. And so having parents who come from that type of upbringing, like they wanted more for us.
Right.
And my sister and I literally have excelled at everything we've ever done. We are gifted children. And so my parents were like, no, school first. So I was like, well, when I become an adult, then I can do what I want. And so I started modeling. And one thing that I said I was going to do in high school, I said, when I graduate high school, I'm going to be on America's Next Top Model. I'm going to do it.
Did you?
Yes.
Yes!
Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yes.
A fun fact about me. So,
oh, I'm going to write that down somewhere.
Yeah, it took me like 6 auditions, but I did it. And it gave me a crash course into a few things. 1, how Hollywood works. 2, how reality television works. And 3, how people in Hollywood sometimes don't have their own ideas. So they will take other people's ideas. It was a lot. It was a lot that I learned.
That sounded very interesting.
Oh, I'm going to leave it at that. But it taught me a lot, and it also showed me just how powerful of a manifester I am. I mean, granted, even going to Pratt, I put all my eggs in one basket. I was like, if I don't go to this school, I'm not going to college. So, and then I got in. Right. And they only accept like 26 students every year out of thousands who apply from around the world. So voila, magical unicorn. And so after I did America's Next Top Model, it shifted things because I made it on TV. I made it to like the top 20. Okay. And then when it was time to choose for the house, I didn't make it into the house, and so I had to go home. But it was the biggest blessing. Okay. It could have ever been dealt to my life, because if I had went further, probably wouldn't be sitting on this couch with you. Yeah, so You know, they just were trying to force me to be something that I'm not.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm here to win this competition because I knew I would win if I made it. I'm not here for the petty drama stuff that you guys are. You're trying to make me be this mean girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a mean girl. Like, stop asking me the same questions, trying to trip me up.
Right.
And so that's why I didn't get into that top 12, because when I say I smashed everything, I smashed all of my interviews. Everybody loved me. They were like, her face, perfect. They were probably going to cut my hair. I wouldn't have cared.
Right.
You know? And so to everybody, to production, to the other girls, it didn't make sense that I didn't make it in that top 12. But it made sense to me because only I knew what was happening in those private rooms, those other interviews that we were doing that just didn't sit well with me. So once I left, I started just like freelance modeling, doing more fashion shows, and I started doing art modeling for colleges and private art groups, and I started modeling nude, which was something I didn't do before that, but it was like the most liberating thing.
Okay.
Because it just helped me embrace my body. Because when you model nude, you can't hide behind clothes, accessories, props.
It is what it is.
And the set and lights.
Right.
That's it. And
just think, whatever imperfection you thought you had, the light's going to highlight that.
Highlight. So when I started doing that and like what they call booty modeling, boudoir, lingerie, urban, my dad was like, he put me to the side one day. He was like, hey, I love you. And I'm so happy that like all this stuff is going really well for you in modeling, but I feel like that's just not it for you. I feel like there's more for you. I think that you should really use your writing. I'm like, hey, go to writing shit. Right? Hey, go to writing shit again. And my dad has a way of like cornering me in like a part of the house where it's just like, I can't run. So I'm standing there and like, okay. And he's like, listen, I guarantee you, if you use your writing, it'll give you everything that you want. Everything. I don't care what you write about. Just write. Mm-hmm. And so my aunt Nicole, she printed out before this conversation with my dad, blogging was the thing. It was like the thing that had emerged. And she was like, you don't have to go to journalism school anymore to be a writer. You can just start your blog. Here, I printed out this book for you, Blogging 101. And I was like, wow, thank you. And so so I did start writing. I started writing for a website in Chicago. It was called shyground.com. And it was about Chicago local music. And they brought me in to like work on the fashion side of their site. But I ended up just like interviewing different musical artists and celebrities and covering live shows and doing album reviews and show reviews and stuff like that. So I was on the scene. Right. So I was on the scene as a model, and I was also on the scene as like a reporter. And I just built a lot of relationships with A&Rs and artists and managers. And yeah, so I was like in the mix. So that writing went well, and then in the mix of that, I ended up snagging a job working for Tony Williams, who he's an artist on good music. He's also Kanye's like I think first or second cousin or one of those, but he works with Kanye on a lot of his music, doing his hooks and stuff. And Tony is an artist himself. Okay. So he had an album that was coming out, and this was during like when MySpace was still popping. Okay. And Twitter had just started.
Oh wow, this goes back.
Back. It's like 2008. So I got a job working as like a junior PR. So I was working underneath his publicist, helping her write press releases and like get him interviews and stuff like that. And then also on his social media team, flooding. Like, see, it's called spamming today, but back then it was not spamming. All right. We used to flood MySpace, just like plugging his album on different pages and stuff. Like we had a list of pages to hit every day. Okay. And then they were like, okay, get on Twitter. We want to do the same thing on Twitter. So I've been on Twitter since 2008. I'm an OG on Twitter. I'm an OG on Twitter.
Which is literally where I found her. That is where I found her.
I love Twitter. Twitter literally has been so influential in my growth and like success, because before Instagram, there was Twitter. Right. Like I didn't have an iPhone. Like y'all, I trapped with a flip phone for the long.
Wait, why does Lorenzo still have a flip phone?
Look, I would still have a flip phone too if it wasn't a mini computer. You know what I mean? Because I used to get talked about. They'll be like, "You so fine. Like, why you got a flip phone?" I said, "Calm down. I'm still out here in the same spaces as you. Still trapping. Still checking my Twitter feed with the SMS." Okay. Just so you know.
Oh my
That's
God.
how long ago it was. And so I still got that phone too.
You hear that, Lorenzo?
Hey,
She
Lorenzo.
still got her flip
Yes.
phone.
Yeah, I hear it. That's
Lorenzo.
right.
Baby, I got all my flip phones. I got all the old phones from like 2007 until now. I still have all my phones.
Oh my God.
Yes, it's nostalgia for me.
Okay.
Nostalgia.
Yes.
And there's no greater satisfaction of hanging up on somebody just hard as hell, clack. You know, you can't do
You
that.
can't do that with iPhone. You can't. It's not as effective,
It's not.
especially because even when your finger hits it, there's no sound. So
No sound. It used to actually crackle on their end when you would, you know, when you clap it closed. You know.
oh no.
So from working with Tony taught me how to use WordPress because I had started, after getting my dad's advice, I started a fashion blog, and I started it on Blogger.
Oh my God. I had a blog on Blogger. I was selling real estate at the time, and I did a real estate blog. Oh my God.
I had a blog on Blogger, and it was about fashion, and Tony really liked it. So he said, I want you to syndicate your blog posts on my blog, but he had WordPress. So now, the whole time I'm working with Tony, this is like a freelance, unpaid internship kind of thing.
Right.
But the value that I got from working with him led me to where I'm at today.
Yeah, because I'm patiently listening to this because I've never heard this before. But I'm waiting for her to get to the part that we've all seen.
Yeah, because all this is like deep history, because people be like, oh my God, I want to be like Tyomi, because they see the following I have online. They don't understand
You
that
built up
I
to it.
built a following when I was a model. So it started there. So like, you know, when I did America's Next Top Model, it gave me a big boost.
Right.
And then those people converted when I converted into what I'm doing now. And so, and because of a lot of the connections that I've had from that time and being a model, people knowing me as that, when I started writing on my blog, Lemerotica101.com,
Yeah.
they started sharing it. So Tony taught me how to use WordPress, and I built my blog on WordPress. So it got to the point where like the fashion blog just wasn't doing it for me. And I was like, okay, what do I want to actually do? Like, what's going to bring some value to this world from my perspective? And I was like, well, what do I know a lot about that I won't get tired talking about? I was like, oh, sex. Sex. And people at this point, it was very shocking for them.
Oh, really?
It was very shocking for them when I launched my blog in 2011 because they had never heard about me in these streets. Outside of just like working, kind of quiet to myself, you know. So when I launched my blog, people were like, the fuck? So how you know all this? I'm like, how do you think I know all this? I've been experimenting. I've been, you know, researching and stuff. And so I launched a blog in 2011 after going to Exotica for the first time in 2010.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, and that was Exotica's first year in Chicago. And so I was like, if I can go to this convention, if I can feel comfortable around this, then I know this is for me. And the first person I saw that like really just sealed the deal for me was Sarah J. Which our birthdays are a day apart and we're like a decade apart. But she saw me and she was like, ooh, you're cute. Hey, come here. And like introduced herself, and she gave me some stickers and whatnot. And we just like hit it off and like been cool ever since. But I left that. First of all, everybody was trying to recruit me to be everybody was trying to recruit me, yo. And I was like, oh, everyone's so nice, you know. It's like, no, they're just trying to get you to do more.
I was gonna say, they wanted something.
They wanted something. They wanted something. But the fact that I wasn't that naive to know, I was like, no, I'm good. But just the energy around it, and then the different body types that I saw. And it was just like, wow, that's my first time ever experiencing that. So after that, I was like, I'm good. I'm going to do this. And I started brainstorming names for my blog and all this. And at first, I was not going to put my image up on my blog site. I was going to do it anonymously.
Why were you not going to use your image? And again, the reason I'm asking is because when I first went live on Twitter, I didn't put my face up there. I didn't really, like, Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know why. Even though I wasn't okay. Anyway, you tell your story.
I had apprehension for a lot of reasons. Like back then was not how it is now. Back then, if you were doing porn or modeling nude or doing all that stuff, like it was frowned upon, you know, and it would ruin your chances of, you know, getting into mainstream things. And so like that's why I did it after you're top model. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had apprehension about that. But also I was like, do I want my business to be out here? You know, like, so it was a lot of judgments that were coming, not from like my own thinking, but just from like upbringing. Like I grew up in the Baptist church and
the church.
The church, hallelujah. It was like 2-3 times a week, you know, like
yes, girl,
you know, and,
yes.
But that is the word. The word is right here.
Yeah, it lives inside.
It lives inside of me. I am the church. So I.
See, this is how you know we was in church, because we know these things.
So it was just all the judgments from all the outside stuff, you know, and then like what my parents gonna think, yada yada.
Right.
And so, but one of my mentors was like, your image is very powerful. You need to put it on your site. And so my first site was bare bones, girl, because you know, I don't know design code. I did the best that I could with what I knew, and I put my picture up there in the banner. And then like I was working a little marketing job at the time, so but I was at work on my blog, and so I remember just like sitting there watching all the views coming through, and then people would be like, "Wait, is the person who wrote this stuff the person in the header?" I was like, "Yeah," because the picture I had up there, it was like me reclining on like this fur rug with like this white lingerie on. I had black straight hair. And it was this beautiful couch behind me and like these drapes. And it was a sexy ass photo. So people were just like, wait. That is writing this? Tell me more. And it was crazy because like I said, I already had a bunch of friends in radio and all that. And this was when internet radio first started popping off. Not podcasts. Internet radio.
Okay.
So like Blog Talk and all that.
Right.
And so my friends who had radio shows were like, okay, now you got to come on the show. We got to talk about this. And so very early on in my career, like probably within the first month of me blogging, I was doing radio shows. So I've been doing radio for 10 years, for 10 plus years. And, you know, I hosted a radio show on PlayboyRadio.com. Yes. Glamazon Tyomi's Sex Academy.
Yep.
Playboy Radio.
I want you all to enroll.
And that's where I met Jasmine and King for the first time.
Oh, get out.
I interviewed them on my show. They were like my second guests.
Okay.
Second or third guests. But so that's how I transitioned to this. Started out modeling and writing for like music. And then my dad encouraged me to just really deepen my writing. My aunt encouraged me to start a blog, and I started it around sex, and my dad was like, okay, yeah. Yeah, it was like.
He did say he didn't care what.
He didn't care. But he's so supportive of anything that I do. And at first, my mom, like we had a sit down, she was like, I don't like it. And what's funny is she was like, I already know what you're going to say when I say this, but I'm still going to say it. I don't like it. And I said, well, since you already know what I'm going to say, I'm going to tell you so you know I don't care. And that was the conversation. And then she showed up to Exotica the first day. The first time I did Exotica, it was 2012.
Okay.
And I like low-key cried. Because I was like, she don't fuck with it, but she fuck with me.
See? That right there. That right there. That's everything.
She might not have understood what I was doing in the beginning, and she didn't like it. But she loves me.
And
she took off of church. She came to Exotica on a Sunday. She took off church to come to Exotica because she said, I had to come up here and see what you're doing.
Oh, wow.
And the first year I went to Exotica, WGCI, my friends that work up there, they came with the cameras. And WGCI is like the #1 urban station in Chicago. And so like they came up there with the cameras and the microphones and they interviewed me. And people were like, who is this girl? I was like, because I had these connections before I even came into the space. And like I had a booth. My booth was set up with a step and repeat. I was set the fuck up.
Love it.
And also, so many people were coming and showing me love, right? But I found out that they thought that I was Naomi Banks.
Ah! That is so funny.
Yo, because like, okay, so I think what happened was like, people took those pictures with me and then they tagged them on Twitter and they tagged it with her. And so what happened was she thought I was trying to take her identity and she hit me up and I was like, no, sis. I don't do porn. I'm a sex educator. This was before I was like student content or anything like that. Right. I was like, I'm a sex educator. And I think that people just thought that I was you.
Right.
I'm not. And then it was cool and we got cool after that and she had me on her radio show and all that good stuff. But like early on, it was like, okay, let's just get this work out here. And so because Twitter was really, I had Facebook at the time and Twitter. My original Facebook page got hacked. Somebody from like Middle East or whatever hacked into my shit, locked me out of it.
I don't like the Facebook.
I don't like Facebook. I have a Facebook now, but I don't claim it.
I don't use it mine.
I only use it because I have an Instagram and I want to buy ads for like my other businesses that aren't sex stuff because, you know, we can't get our ads through. Yeah. But, so I used to have like a list of folk that I would hit up on Twitter. It was like 100 people of influence. And some of them were like celebrities. And I would just like, once I wrote a blog post, I would just send it out to them and be like, hey, look at this. And that's how I started getting a lot of traction. And then I had a YouTube channel. I'm an OG on YouTube as well. My YouTube channel, like I look back at it and I'm like, yeah, I gotta like start posting again. And I took time off because, you know, it changed. Okay. Terms of service and all that. But I've been on YouTube since 2010. Yeah, so I was one of the first that was actually like posting up like how-to sex videos.
Ooh.
So I was teaching people how to get into different sex positions and just like giving advice and stuff. And then
yes, please. Yes, please.
And then I ended up getting contacted by a show on Comedy Central called Tosh.0.
Yes. Yes.
And they had me come in and do, so Daniel Tosh had an idea to have these little 30-second segments between the show and commercial to just throw to. He wanted to do sex positions of the week. So they didn't just want to hire actors. They wanted somebody who legitimately did this. And so they went on YouTube to search sex positions and they found me.
Wow.
And so they flew me out to LA and I shot like, it was like 10 different segments that we shot, but 3 actually ended up going on air. And I'm still getting them residual checks from that show. RIP though, because they canceled the show. They ended the show last year, but from there it was like just a bunch of different viral moments.
Yeah, okay. Speaking of viral moments, so talk about the time you broke the internet.
Which time?
I don't know. How many? However, go for it. I mean, because some of us will live an entire lifetime and never come close to that. So how about the first time?
Okay. I would say the first time I broke the internet was Beyonce came out with the album, I think it's Beyonce. And she had Drunken Love on there. And there was one line that people were debating about on the internet. It was, fill the tub up halfway and ride with my surfboard. Surfboard, grinding on that wood. So people are debating about this in groups and like making memes and shit. And I'm like, the fuck? How y'all don't know how to fuck in a bathtub? Like I literally was thinking this. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll make a tutorial. And I made a tutorial and I put it on YouTube. And my friend let me use his house. His tub was immaculate. And I put on a shower cap. So that got me fucked up. I'm a black woman with hair. I'm putting a damn shower cap on. So like, I put it on YouTube and then somebody put it on World Star Hip Hop.
Okay.
And then it just went from there. And like Wendy Williams mentioned it on her show. And like, it was just all over the place.
When was this?
2013?
Okay.
14?
Okay.
Yeah, ish. So that happened and it was like, it was all over and that sent my stuff up. And then the Tosh.0 situation got me in really good with like the comics. So I was like, okay, y'all, I'm not a comedian, but okay. And then just my YouTube channel in itself, like certain videos, like I had this one video about riding the North Face, but I think because of SEO, I put North Face and a lot of people looked it up and it popped up. But I created a tutorial, and this has been going viral and still is going viral and remixing all kind of stuff and inspiring others as well to like try to do their own thing. I made a video on how to ride dick because in all of my videos where I would have like, you know, woman on top or like vagina on top positions, ladies would be like, this is great, but I don't know what I'm doing up there.
Okay, wait. I gotta stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna run some commercials because that's the perfect segue. That's the perfect segue to, what was it, number 3 on the 5 reasons to watch Casey. Hold that thought. Wait. Where do I want to be? I don't even know where I want to be right now. Hold that thought. All right, so I will be at Exotica alongside Tyomi. April, the first one is Chi-Town.
Chi-Town, my town, baby.
Yes, April 29th through May 1st. And then we will be in the heat of Miami. Ay, Benita, Miami. In July. Like, no lie. The heat.
The heat is on.
Woo! And then in October, the biggest of all.
The biggest.
Edison, New Jersey. And then the new hotspot. Washington,
D.C. was so motherfucking lit last year.
Oh, my God. The new hotspot. Washington, D.C. Oh, my God. December 2nd through 4th. That joint was fire.
Fire. And it's about to be busting this year. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's where you can find me and Tyomi. All right. Enough said. And then on Wednesday, after you've watched Casey at Night at 7, I'm going to need you to hang out, get a snack, and then show back up at 9 for BoobTube with me, Carrie Anderson, and Desirable Bottom Desiree. And we're back.
We're back.
Okay, all right. So I got to give you all a laugh. I'm not going to show it to you, but I'm going to I'm on a booster seat right now. Hold on. So when I'm not sitting on my booster seat, this is what it looks like. So anyway, I said that to say, because I got to adjust my booster seat.
Yep.
See?
And it's funny because like people, like my name, my handle on the internet is Glamazon Tyomi, which came from like, you know, Tyra, like Glamazon.
Right.
And it just stuck. Plus, you know, I'm glamorous.
Yes. And
pretty glamorous.
Yes, and she's a motherfucking Amazon.
I am 5'10" and a half.
And a half. I just kicked her foot.
It's okay.
Don't leave off that half.
Don't leave it off because when I wear like 3.5-inch heels, that half, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
That half matters.
And you earned it.
I have.
You grew it all by yourself.
I did organically.
Yeah.
I am 100% organic, USDA certified. All
right. So you were starting to tell this story about riding.
Yes, because I think like a lot of people found me from this video. So I started doing research. And I realized that literally there were no formal classes because I've had people come to me and be like, I've been teaching people how to ride dick in my dorm room since whatever the fuck year. And I'm like, but did you actually? Anyway, so right. No formal classes, no books, no curriculum, no nothing. Mm-hmm. And literally, this is the thing that women around the world, because my YouTube is international. Women around the world were like, I don't know what I'm doing up there. And so
yeah, I've heard this myself.
My first video was like a music video tutorial. And it was great. And a lot of people were like, this is great. And I still don't know what I'm doing. So I was like, all right. So then I made another one, but it was like a formal how-to. And it was a part 1 and a part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very candid, you know, in the videos and stuff. And I have like big hair, you know, I got on my tube socks because I'm trying to make sure that YouTube knows I have clothes on.
Right.
You know, when you thick,
certain angles don't
don't capture your clothing.
Mm-mm. It just captures meat.
It meats in my ass. When my ass is set up, my ass eats everything.
Listen, you saw it, that's why I had to have that. Oh,
yep,
no, I'm sorry. Y'all didn't see it.
Y'all didn't see it, but I saw it. I understood.
During one of them breaks, I had to adjust. Like right there, that moment.
So, you know, I was like, let me wear these white tube socks so they know I got on clothes. And so those videos have gone viral. Shouts out to my African countries because they take, first of all, the Caribbean and African countries like have taken those videos and they have gone super viral.
Really?
Super viral. Yeah, that's why I was able to go to Nigeria in 2019 and do a whole tour because like Nigerian Twitter and Instagram, like their social media is massive. Okay. And like they took that thing and it just went off. And so people started just following me from all kind of places. And then, you know, like I said, then certain celebrities started posting the video. I think T-Pain posted it and Plies posted it.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh shit, thank y'all for the big up. And so that has been a continual viral moment. And then some of my photos have gone viral. Like this one photo I did. Because I started touring with the Cowgirl workout in 2016.
Okay, so you see how a little viral video on YouTube has turned into a whole program.
Yes, because see, what I realized from that video was like a lot of women got it. And I've had so many young girls come to me like in their 20s and be like, you taught me how to ride dick in college because I found you on YouTube. And I'm like, but there was still a big group of women who were just like, I see that, but I still don't
can't get it. They just don't get it.
Don't get it.
Yeah, because let me just say this as someone who rides. There is mechanics to it.
There's mechanics.
So just again, as someone who rides, you have to, and so wait, let me just say this. Going back to something we said earlier about, I don't know what's supposed to be the right way. I know what works for me. That's the thing is I know what's comfortable. Mm-hmm. And just through trial and error, I figured out this is what works for me. This is how I like to do it. And this allows me to be there until I get what I need.
Right.
Because oftentimes we tap out and flip off and go, okay, I'm going to need you to. No, I can stay there and get what I need because I figured out how my body works on that. But I think that's the whole point of your program.
Mm-hmm. Because there's this idea that there's like a standard and there isn't a standard. But once I did my research and I really broke it down, because I have such a deep relationship with my body to where like I can go internally and I have an awareness of like what's happening, what muscle groups are engaged, what's happening, like when I'm penetrated, what's hitting what. And so I took that embodied wisdom and then I started doing like research around yoga. And because I've been dancing since I was like 5, but I started like not professionally dancing, but taking dance classes and dancing on a team in high school. And so I started practicing yoga in high school. So I have a very good range of flexibility
sense of your body,
and a sense of my body. And so I understand the power of movement and what that does for you. And so I was like, okay, a friend of mine in Chicago, shouts out to the Meow University.
Woo! They're going to be in the show on when we get there. Woo-hoo. See you in a month.
Love you, Kat. So Kat was the one that was like, all right, Tyomi, because the video was going viral, right? She's like, I want to book you for this. And at that point, like I hadn't had a formal class, but I did have my curriculum. And so I put it together. And actually, before Kat booked me, a woman by the name of Pearl, I don't know if she's still doing it now, but she was arranging shows for male exotic dancers out in Denver. I was dating a guy at the time who was in one of her shows. And she was like, I want to include you in this because I think you're dope. And so that show, those guys bringing me in, it was like my first time actually teaching the Cowgirl workout with a crowd. And it went over so well. And I was like, okay, this is going to be great. And so then Kat booked me for classes in Chicago, and we sold out 2 classes, 60 women, fresh out the gate. Then when I put it out there on Instagram, women from all over were like, well, can you come here? Can you come here? Can you come here? And then my friend at the time, he was like, well, if you want a tour, I'll drive you. And I was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah, I'll drive you.
Okay.
I was like, okay. And so I said, we're going on tour. And I even had London on my tour stop because that was going to be the end of the tour. Mm-hmm. And that was the most, first of all, we drove the country from east to west, north to south. So I've seen this great country that is America as far as a land, as a landscape, as geography.
As geography.
Let me be very specific about that.
Yeah, because it is party. It is very party. Interesting.
It's fucking beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like America in itself has so many different climates. Like anything you want to experience, you can experience it right here in America. You just gotta know where to go.
Right.
So, and it was my first time ever touring. So, and literally, like I don't have a manager. I don't have any of that. So I've been doing this all myself. The logistics. So finding the venues, mapping out the roads, where we're staying, and it was on a shoestring budget, you know. But we did it. And we ended up in London.
Okay.
I ended up in London. My friend.
You got to London.
I got to London. And being able to go over to London and sell out a class and see that I had women who looked like me there waiting for me was like, wow. And then that turned into me just touring 2017, 2018, 2019. I started my tour in 2020. I did 7 cities before the pandemic hit us.
Right.
I was supposed to be in Kenya. I was literally about to leave for Kenya the day the world shut down. I was supposed to leave for Kenya. I had 70 women waiting for me in Nairobi, and everything shut down. And I was depressed for 3 days. And then I was just like, okay, what are we doing? Deeper consciousness said, we're going online. So I just put the tour online, and it just went. And what was birthed out of the pandemic was my online community, my fitness community. So now, not only have I been like 10 times as successful teaching this online than I'll have in person, but I'm able to reach more women, people with vaginas. And it's a community. It's like a Facebook, but it's not Facebook. It's the Cowgirl Workout Tribe. So it turned into a whole fitness program because what I understood from doing my research was that the average woman out here doesn't really have a regular movement routine.
Right.
And even if you do go to the gym or you do yoga, Pilates, CrossFit, jogging, whatever form of movement, the movement that I specifically teach, you're not working those muscles.
No.
You're not working those muscles. And also, you're not working those muscles with the breathing pattern that's needed for you to deepen and establish stamina.
See, it's that right there. That word, stamina.
Stamina.
And that's where I go back to, through my own trials and errors, I've built up my, what works for Casey. Exactly. I don't know exactly what Tyomi teaches, and I'm gonna find out what Tyomi teaches just because you can't learn too much, right? There's no way that you could learn too much. But what I learned for me through my trial and error, my trial and error was based on the fact that I wanted to have orgasms every way I could, any way I could, from whatever, right? So that was one of those things. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, so here's the real story.
I was like, come on now, tell us the real tea.
Here's the real story. I find that position super powerful.
It is.
Super powerful. And that really was the motivation behind, nah, man, I'm not tapping out. I'm riding this bitch till I come.
Yes.
And then when I come, I then like to end off with squeezing in every last drop out. And that was a whole nother level of lesson. Learning how to work the muscles on the inside. And anyway, this ain't about me, y'all.
Listen,
this ain't about me.
You got it. And that's the thing. It's like I always tell women when I start, I'm like, I'm not here to tell you that you're doing anything wrong. I'm just here to give you some suggestions on how to do it even better and in a way that's pleasing for both partners, because the scooting thing feels good to us, but not to them. Right. You know, because it's not actually not a stroke. So it's funny. I had a partner recently say, wow, your motor skills are crazy. I was like, because the way that I'm able to like move my hips and I'm keeping eye contact the whole time because I want you to know who did it to you.
See what I'm saying?
I want you to know who did it to you.
It's powerful.
It's powerful. Because like the first time I ever was asked to ride dick, literally, I had just started having sex with partners. And this was, I think, like my third partner. The first two didn't ask me to do that, but this guy did. And I got up there and I wove the flag. I said, hey. I just lost my virginity, you know. I don't know what I'm doing up here. He was like, just try.
Right.
And did the school thing. And he was just like, let me just turn you over. And so as he's back there, I'm sitting there like, I never, ever again.
Right.
I will not let this shit be the best. As I'm throwing it back. I will not let this shit be the best of me. Right. And so I just started doing research and like watching, you know, adult film stars who like Roxy Reynolds was like the best rider to me. I was like, girl, you riding that dick like savage. So I studied like a bunch of her videos and just looked at other videos. And then I noticed just like the movement and what was happening. And so I just took it back to dance and yoga. And I was like, okay. And so it's really a combination of yoga poses that open the hips, hip movements, so like different gyrating movements, and it's like I break it down to individual moves, and then those moves are turned into stroke patterns.
Ooh, stroke patterns.
Stroke patterns, yes.
That's gotta perk somebody's ear. Stroke patterns. Stroke.
So the class is like part seminar, part movement, because I have to explain like what's happening in the body, and then people have so many questions about like size, because body size and penis shape matter, and then also the positioning of the opening of the vagina, because everyone's vagina isn't like the opening isn't positioned in the same way, and then your body size. Like a lot of my clients, they may have a belly.
Fupa.
Look, move that shit other way. Okay?
Hello.
It's
all right.
It's adipose tissue. It can move. Like just lift that baby, or lift it on your partner, and
whoever,
get
whatever.
to it.
Yeah,
you know. So,
let nothing get between you and the moment.
And I always tell my clients, I'm like, this is for you first, because some of them come to me with deep desperation because they're like, I gotta learn this. If I don't learn this, my relationship is over. Like, it literally is that serious for some people. And so to reduce that anxiety and to bring it back to them, I always tell them it's great that you want to do this for your partner, but it's for you first, because you get to control the pace, the timing, the amount of time you're up there. You get to control the depth of the penetration and the stroke, and you get to hit your internal erogenous zones. Like, it's about you first, and they get to share in that with you, because riding is a team sport. It is, especially in certain positions. Like, it's great when your partner can like stroke from the bottom or like bring their hips up, so not just laying there like a dead corpse, you know, like, or like they on vacation, like, yeah, I'm taking a break. No, it's not a fucking break. You just on the bottom. That's it.
That's all. Like, I be on the bottom, now you on the bottom.
And I'll tell you something. Like, I don't always get to flex my riding skills. Like, certain partners just don't. They don't want to be dominated. Because I just be like, because I'm a whole lot of women, and I'm telling you that eye contact be getting them. They be like, what the fuck?
I can't stress how powerful. Ladies, hear me when I tell you. Unless you were like a really, really bad at it, that position will boost your confidence in so many ways. Just try the eye contact.
I'm telling you, because most of my partners, like after I started teaching this, that I like literally snatched their soul, they'll be like, I wish I could give a testimonial and tell them that this shit's real. This shit's real. This shit's real. She knows what she's doing. I'm like, yeah, because I've had a lot of practice. Plus, I broke it down to a specific science. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun though. And what I realized was that women need a fitness routine just to get moving. And it helps them feel more confident in their bodies and more embodied, because I'm always telling them, breathe, focus on what's happening in your body, feel the parts where it's tense, like breathe into that area. And so like I incorporate Tantra into my teaching. It's all somatic, you know, and I'm always studying too. Like I'm always looking up like different yoga poses and other like somatic healing practices to help enhance what I'm doing. So for anybody out there trying to copy, it's very difficult to do that
because you're gonna have to do a whole lot just to catch up.
I'm always just upgrading my curriculum and upgrading what I'm doing for my clients. So like I used to do 60-minute long like workouts, but my clients, they were like, can we do like 20 minutes? I was like, cool. And studies have shown that a minimum of 20 minutes of movement not only helps boost your mood, but it helps with increasing your stamina. Specifically for women, cardiovascular exercises have proven to improve our the way that we see ourselves, but also our stamina and hormone balancing.
Oh my God, yes, that's a thing that is like an invisible barrier to happiness on so many levels. So yeah, that's a big thing.
And working with the pelvis, you know, we hold stress in the pelvis, and so when your pelvic floor is tight, and it inhibits your ability to really like experience full, powerful, deep orgasms. Painful sex can occur, and all kinds of things. And so by working with the pelvis and keeping things like limber and flexible, then it increases so much more in the body. So like when I am teaching this course and like women come into my container, just hearing how they've blossomed and how they've opened up just from movement, I'm like, this shit's powerful. I want you to know so 20 minutes, I do quickies now. They're called quickies. 20-minute quickies. And what's crazy, because I got a Fitbit for the reason of seeing like how many calories we burn. 60 minutes, we burn like maybe 340 calories. In 20 minutes, we do about half of that, or a little over half.
Okay.
So like
mathematically speaking, that's a lot.
That's a lot in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so my clients be like, what the fuck? They be like, how are you still kicking my ass in 20 minutes? I'm like, this is what y'all asked for. I'm still going to give you the same intensity. But in a shorter amount of time. And 20 minutes is really all you need. I like to do longer form workouts because that's me. I got stamina. I got stamina, y'all. I've been working out for a long time. I started doing physical fitness in high school, like lifting weights and doing all that stuff. And so I have endurance when it comes to like fitness and whatnot. And then when I really be in the gym, my clients be like, "Tell me on one today." Like, and she on one. So I wanted to create a community. Like the pandemic, honestly, was the best thing that happened to that aspect of my business, because it cut out overhead and travel and lodging and venue costs.
Huge in the budget.
What?
That's most of the budget, if not sometimes all of the budget.
And shouts out to my clients who have like come out to my classes in person, because they have thugged it out with me. Like, because you know when you're like booking a venue online, it looks different than in real life. So online it looks bigger than what it really is. And so I've shown up to venues where literally it's like the size of your living room right here, and I got 30 women.
No, this space right here ain't gonna hold 30 women.
You know, so like I'm
not doing what you're doing too.
Look,
otherwise we are nose to tail.
I like make friends, y'all. Make friends. Pre-pandemic though.
Right. Yeah, we can't nose the tail now.
It's gonna have to be 10 folk in a space like this. We're gonna have multiple classes or a bigger space. And so I appreciate those ladies because they believed in me. And plus they resonated with me. Like many of them, I'm like their sister or best friend or sometimes mother. And so just having the opportunity to like see me in real life and give me hugs and stuff. And then they realize like, oh wait, she's the same person. Like no different than the person I'm interacting with online. This is the same person. It was that for them. And so as much as it is what I teach, It's who I am and what I bring to relationships that really connects people. And that's why they take the class. Because there's other people out there that have classes. I don't know what they teach. I don't even go looking at their stuff. But I know what I teach and I know what I bring. And I'm wildly successful at what I do. And the Cowgirl workout's getting a lot of traction and publicity this year. I can't talk about it yet, but you'll see it when it all drops. So I just want to let you know, trademark and copywritten.
Yeah, I see.
My shit's proven.
Hey.
My shit's proven. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all she's going to say.
You just got to do the work, though. And that's the thing. Some women be like, oh, I got to work out. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. No, okay, so before I go to another break, funny enough, one of my episodes of Casey at Night was about exercise for sexual health. Just different exercises for both men and women that would help you in the bedroom. Yes. And it wasn't even like deep. It was just a few of these here, a few of these there, and just showing folks how the various exercises, how it translates to various positions and why some of this is good for you. Like, for those of us who are like, I don't want to go to the gym, I don't want to work out. You want an orgasm? You want multiples? You want to go all night long? Yeah, this is why you're going to do this workout. This is why you're going to do it. So just hold that thought. We'll be right back. Let's see if I can make this happen quick enough. There we go.
On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon'. I got what you need, I got what you want, I got what you need, tell them giddy up. I got horses in the back, trunk in the front, exterior red and that inside buttercup. I got what you need, I got what you want, I got what you need, tell them giddy up.
So yeah, I'm busy negotiating here. Not really, but yes, I am.
I'm already, she ain't got to negotiate shit. Like, I'm already in it.
So yeah, so coming soon is my corset line. And this is going to be my first model right here. But okay, so listen, those of you who watch Casey at Night, there's a lot that, about how I do my show. And some of you have been with me for years and you've watched the show evolve. But the one thing that has always been consistent is that I usually am just a 1-hour show because I am respectful of your time. And listen, ultimately, I'm looking to see this joint show up on somebody else's network. So I need for the network people to know I know how to hold a 1-hour show. But fuck it, it's Tyomi and she's in my house. Shit.
No, but like I just had such a great time, like just having a conversation with you. Time was like
that's and that's the funny thing is I turned at one point and was like, wait, what? After 9? Really? Shit. There was more stuff I wanted to talk about.
It didn't even seem like that. And like, but you're not gonna always come back.
I know. Okay, so anyway, that being said, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. Now, you remember I mentioned earlier we were talking about church? So let's see if I can do this without having to close 7 times.
Right? 5 benedictions.
We're gonna see if I can do it. All right, so Tyomi, where can we find you?
Yeah.
Well, let me flip it and do it this way. What's coming up and where can we find you?
Okay, so the Cowgirl workout is always running online at thecowgirlworkout.com. There's a 30-day free trial for anyone that wants to try it out. And after that, it's $24.99 a month, or you can get 40% off if you subscribe annually at $179, which is a pretty sweet deal because we have replays, check-ins. So replays of 60-minute and our 20-minute quickie workouts. I also teach Tantra in the community and do a lot more than just the fitness, portion of things. So check me out there, thecowgirlworkout.com, my blog site, glamorerotica101.com for free sex advice, and the YouTube channel underneath the same name, glamorerotica101. Enjoy all the stuff that's there now. There will be new stuff coming. You can find me on Twitter at Glamazon Tyomi. You will know me because I am verified there.
That blue check.
I got a blue check on Twitter, but Instagram is hating. Instagram.
Yeah, I meant to ask about that.
So my first Instagram page got snatched down on some bullshit. And then Instagram is just really weird.
Facebook?
Facebook is really weird because they claim you have to have so much press, but I'm like, you can literally put Tyomi Morgan in Google and find all the press and all the things I've done.
We didn't even talk about some of the stuff I wanted to talk about because she was talking about shit I hadn't heard before. So,
I
don't know why.
I've written for Ebony Magazine, ebony.com, blackdoctor.org. I've done so many things, Playboy Radio. Yeah, I've done so much stuff that I'm like, damn, girl.
Haters.
Yeah,
anyway.
Instagram is at Real Glamazon Tyomi. And like I said, I do have a twin sister. So if you find somebody else that looks like me, her page is Nurse J. Becky. She's an actual nurse in real life. So,
I love that.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. Like, she is a natural healer. She's phenomenal.
Okay, so my daughter is studying to be a nurse. She's currently an LPN at the Children's Hospital here.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Listen, shout out to Black nurses. Because having a sister that's in that field and seeing what she goes through and listening to her, like, those doctors and like the staff, they don't respect Black women in the space, and Black women be crushing it in the space.
Baby girl
and
talks
having
about
the
it.
most empathy. Oh my gosh, it's a whole thing. So
baby girl talks
tell
about
her,
it.
keep her head.
You hear that, baby girl?
Because listen, like, the pandemic was actually the best thing to happen to nurses for their pay.
Right.
Because nurses are finally getting paid what they deserve, but now they're trying to go back to the bare bones. And
let a nurse decide not to show up.
Listen,
see what happened.
They striking, and units are getting shut down. So anyone listening that works in the medical field, treat them nurses right and get them paid. Okay. But yes, I digress.
Right. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Anyway. All right, so we talked about all of the places to find you on the World Wide Web. Where can we see your gorgeous self live and in person? So if you want to see me live and in person in 2022, you can catch me at the Exotica Expo. For I am the resident sex expert and the seminar coordinator of the Exotica Expo, so I pretty much run half of the show. And I can say that with pride because Jay will also say that. Oh, listen. Jay is like one of the bigger fans of Tyomi. And I'm going to say that because I've heard it come out of Jay's mouth. Jay is a mad-ass Tyomi fan. So I have a very long history, very long with Jay. Like, Jay has been there since the beginning of my career, and Exotica was literally the first place that I ever spoke in public as a sex educator. Exotica gave me my first chance. And the reason why I work with Exotica now is because in Chicago, my seminars were always packed. Seminars used to be kind of like an afterthought for Exotica. It was like if you had a booth, then you could speak on this seminar series, and there wasn't much organization or thought put into it. Okay. And so after seeing like year after year, I was crushing it. It was this one couple that always came to see me, went to him and was like, this girl she has to do more. And so after a series of events that occurred with Exotica, they decided to focus more on the educational side because Exotica is not a porn show. It's an adult show. Yes. And education is a very big part of what we provide. And Exotica actually is probably
the only large-scale convention that provides free comprehensive sex education for the masses. So,
And it does.
Mhm.
It does. No, like, okay. So I know I'm pausing the situation here, but I went to Exotica for the first time 2017.
That's the year I started working with them as their seminar coordinator.
Okay.
Yes.
2017. Yes. Was my first time, and Jersey was my first one because I had gone to Sex Expo in September.
Brooklyn?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I met a couple of girls from Clips for Sale, and they were like, "Are you going to Exotica?" I'm like, "I don't even know what the fuck that is." They're like, "It's you gotta go. It's in Jersey. It's in November," because it was in November that time.
Yep.
And I was like, "Okay." So I called Lorenzo. Apparently, we gotta go to Exotica. Now I met I met Naomi Banks. I met Naomi Banks at Sex Expo. And, you know, we hit it. And it was some dude who turned out to be a fan of mine who insisted that I go meet her. He introduced us and we had a very nice time chatting. And she was like, "You going to Exotica?" I'm like, yeah. So saw her there and she and I had lovely conversation. And I don't think I saw you in Jersey, but I saw the rest of the crew in Jersey. I don't think I had a chance to get to see you until Chicago.
Yep, because I'm always running around
Yes.
and busy and shit.
Yeah. So I say all of that to say I've been going since 2017. And when I tell you that the educational series is a thing, it is so much a thing that I was like, I got to get on that. I got to get on that. And in 2019, the first workshop that I signed up to do was Exotica, but I signed up for Jersey because I wasn't ready. But what was so crazy is if you know anything about how the universe works and manifesting, I kept saying, I'm not ready. So I'm going to do this because I'm going to make myself do it. But I'm going to say I want to do Jersey because I need all this time to get ready. And between the time I initially said I wanted to do it and you were like, "Hey, you going to do this? You want to do this?" And I was like, yeah. That's why I submitted, right? Yeah. So between that time, which was in the first quarter of the year, and Exotica, which was in the fourth quarter of the year, I ended up doing 3 other workshops. So that by the time I got to Exotica, which is all that mattered to me that year, that's all that mattered to me was Exotica. So by the time I got there, I was like, fuck, yeah.
She had it.
Yeah, man, shit.
And I love that crowd because they have no idea what the fuck's about to come out of your mouth. And so you can say anything and they'll just be like,
Yes.
Just like eating it up. So.
Yes. And what I also love about it is if you are a sex educator and this is something you want to do, what was awesome is you're thinking, oh, well, you know, there's people who do this more or have done it longer or whatever. I'm going to tell you what, I had people who were in the room during the transition and they were like, you know, some people stayed because I walked up and it was like, "You're teaching the next workshop?" "Yes, I am." "Okay." So they stayed because I was teaching the next workshop, if you understand what I'm saying about this. And then there were people
who... It was a black woman teaching. I'm going to go ahead and put that out here. Listen, Tyomi, speaking of third person, Tyomi makes it a point to integrate
big time
to bring Black folk. I'm going to say Black folk because we can say POC, but I'm going to say Black folk.
Yeah.
Bring Black folk into the space.
Because we like to see ourselves.
And I cannot tell you how, especially like in when we did Denver, how many people came up and were just so happy, like literally in tears at the fact that they saw Black educators teaching.
Well, okay, so to that point, I met Professor Gaia.
Yes.
For the first time this year. I want to say it was Miami. I think it was Miami. Was it Miami?
It probably was. Yeah, she was in Chicago and Miami.
So I didn't meet her in Chicago.
So it had to be Miami.
So I'm pretty sure it was Miami. Yeah. So the reason why I bring that up is because, or maybe it was Chicago. I don't know. But the point of why I bring that up is that right there that you just said. I was busy asking people, why are you here? And are you enjoying it? And things like that when I was interviewing them. And she talked about the fact that she loved seeing faces like ours. She loved seeing people who looked like her. And she commented on the fact that the number of people who look like her is increasing. And even though I haven't been, say, coming as long as other people, Lorenzo and I commented on that last year, that there, even though there were some faces you didn't see, there were so many new faces that you did see. Mm-hmm. And that is, you, when it comes to sex, African Americans keep that in the house. We don't always take it outside. We don't always like to put our business like that, what we like and what we're into out there amongst the masses. And to see the number of Black people and you know, folks know Tyomi because Tyomi broke the internet. But for somebody like me who has yet to break the internet, you like how I thought a yet on there, right? When
it's pending.
When someone comes up to me and says, "Oh my God, you're Casey Carter," I'm like, yeah, I am. Wow, yeah, you know. And then they proceed to tell me about myself. I'm like, wow, okay. It's just as important to me that I resonate with people as it is for them to see me live and in person. And I love when you see somebody over in the distance and they like point.
Yep.
And you know they're pointing at you, but you know, I'm kind of like, me? Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it. I love, like, Exotica is a huge platform. So being on the platform and being with the show will not only increase your numbers, but it will increase your visibility. Because Exotica is the only adult show in America of its size. And
it is an awesome experience.
It is. And it feels like a family.
It does.
It feels like a family. And so, like, I make it a point to bring Black people into the show. And then, like, Sexpert Corner is my booth.
Yeah.
But I use my booth
to share other people
with other sexperts and people who may not have the funds to, you know, get the booth, because it's not cheap. And so, as a way to give back to those who, because these teachers are coming volunteering their time, right? So to give back to them, I give them a space to vent. But it's great because it's a tribe, it's a family. And
if you've ever been,
but come look for Sexpert Corner when you come to Exotica. But yes, Jay told me that I need to insert my face more into the show. He's like, Tyomi, I know you're not the type that puts your face on everything, but I need you to do that with the show. I was like, okay.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. So let me tell you what I did this past year. So in December was the DC Exotica. And I discovered this year something I didn't know about the ribbon cutting at the opening of each show. I didn't know about this. So I started positioning myself at the ribbon cutting because I want to see when the crowd comes in and the la 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 la, right? So then in DC, there was a big whole thing for the ribbon cutting with Tiny Texie and all of the little, the Exotica hotties and all of that. And Tyomi had already come up front and I had posted my, huggy and selfie. I did all of that. And I knew the ribbon cutting was coming. So I just kind of waited around. And then I realized that they were like bunching up to take a photo. I was like, oh, okay.
Get in there.
And then Lorenzo was like, so I'm like, so like, so if you like Tyomi's on the one side of the photo.
Yep.
And I might be
on the other side.
But I'm here to tell you, my Black ass is getting in the photos this year. We've already talked to Jay, the Boob Tube team. We were like, because it was another photo from DC where you all were outside in front of the building.
Oh yeah, the staff photo.
Yeah. So Carrie and I were like, I don't recall getting the message about the photo. Jay was like, well, you got to be there at such and such date and time. I'm like, that ain't nothing but a word.
Sunday,
You just got to
10 a.m.
say.
Sunday, 10 a.m.
You just got to say, man. That's the problem. You didn't say. So see if a sister don't get herself all up in there.
Get all up in the photos. Okay.
All right, I got Tyomi's position. So yeah.
I just love the show. I love what it does for the public. And I love being able to represent the educational side. Like, they put me on multiple billboards in all the cities.
Oh my God. Okay.
This black woman right here with the afro.
Can you tell me, what is it like to be on a billboard?
What? Well, that was a dream of mine. That, the first one, I was like, whoa. And so the first one they ever did, they put it up in Chicago.
That's your home.
It's my hometown. So, having my friends call me and being like, I just seen you on a billboard. And having my mom see it too. She was just like,
yeah.
And then my dad being like, guess what I saw on my ride home? I seen my baby. So it's a magical feeling to know that, first of all, these people love me so much and support me so much, because that's the first thing. It's like they want to see me be successful. And Exotica would not have brought me in for this position if they didn't think that my brand was also very powerful. Right. Jay tells me that all the time. And so for them to put me up there, especially in Chicago, I was just like, oh. And then for it to happen again and again and again, it's just like, wow. And so sometimes I don't see myself. I know I don't see myself the way that others see me.
Right.
And so for once, take a step out and be like, the average everyday person is not just on a billboard like that. They're not. So you're not just the average everyday person. You're a person of influence. And so that means something. And so when people see that, they're just like, who are you? What are you doing? So it's a very powerful feeling. And also, again, something else that I manifested, because I'm going to be on a billboard one day. And boom.
Listen, I didn't even know. No, okay, you know what? I'm about to lie. I was going to say, I didn't even really know I wanted to be on a magazine cover, but that's a lie. And let me tell you why that's a lie. It's a lie because I got a whole file folder on my computer of me creating a faux magazine with my ass on the cover. Yep. So I guess I subconsciously manifested myself on a magazine cover, with ASN Lifestyle Magazine, because I run that promo right there for the month of March, right? So I definitely want to, again, encourage you all, if you are interested in either vending, teaching, or just attending Exotica, go. And
you
ladies,
will see us there.
Yes,
Ladies Free Friday.
That right there. Ladies are free on Friday. Oh my God,
popping day,
busting at the seams on Friday. Busting at the seams.
And every vendor has things that literally cater, and even our seminar series caters to women for Friday night. And so make it a girls' night, y'all. Get your girls together. If none of the cities are the city you live in, make it a trip.
Mm-hmm. Girls trip.
Trust me when I say you will not be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed.
It's come as you are, and you can be as naked as pasties and floss.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about that. So you think that the people there are the only ones allowed to look like... No.
Attendees.
You can come. You can come
as long as you got pasties on and floss, meaning a little something covering your
vagina,
your vulva or your balls. And they can see that it's connected to something in the back.
You good.
You're good to go.
Listen, and I've seen people come in, and I have to say, I've had to check, because they're busy talking to me, and I'm like, oh, what booth are you at? They're like, I'm not. I'm like, okay.
I love seeing it. I love seeing the couples come who are in DS relationships.
Yes.
I fucking love that.
But wait, can we just say this? My favorite couple so far, I don't remember which location. I've got pictures. I think I've even got video. It was an old Ma and Pa Kettle couple. Ma and Pa Kettle.
Yes.
and they was just slow rolling through the convention. And they weren't walking side by side. He was actually ahead of her, but he would stop and look. She would stop and look. And then they just moved their way through. And I saw them several times in this, like, whichever location this was. I saw them several times. I mean, they didn't like stand in the middle of the aisle and walk through. They walked up to booths and picked up things and looked this shit. And I'm like, see, that right there? That's why you need to come to Exotica. Because you will be inspired.
And I'm going to say, too, the disabled community. The disabled community comes out to Exotica.
Yes.
And they are welcomed and they are embraced.
There's
and
a couple of people I've seen regularly.
There are regulars. I can spot them out. I don't always know them by name, but I can spot them out. And there was one guy who's deaf. He's an Asian guy. And he's a big fan of me. I don't speak sign language fluently at all, but I do speak compassion. I know how to, connect with people. And so he was coming. I haven't seen him since the pandemic, but he would come regularly. Like, I see them all the time. And that's what I love is the fact that, like, you can go into Exotica and you can see so many different types of people from different walks of life, different body types, everyone dressed and expressing themselves the way that they want. This able community, like, just so many walks of life. Yeah. And then it shows you that, like sex connects us all.
It does. Listen, I am forever grateful for the folks who suggested that I go to Exotica. Because literally, the first people that I met when I got to Exotica, I'm just busy wandering around because I had been, so I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to be posting up at Clips for Sale if I wasn't.
She was posting. I thought she was working for Clips for Sale.
Nah. Because it was Ashley Fires is the one who said, hey, come to Jersey. So I came to Jersey. I hung out in the booth with her. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. The booth? That was where I was all weekend.
Yep, I thought she worked with them.
No. But the first people I legit met there, aside from the girls there, was King and Jasmine. And let me tell you real quick how I met King and Jasmine. So I had gone to Sex Expo. I was watching a performance on the stage, and there was this really tall guy in front of me. And I'm holding my phone up to, get video, and it was practically at his shoulder. So he turned around, and he did that quick turn, like, what the fuck? And then when he saw me, he was like, hey, what's up? I was like, hey, how you doing? And so... So, we got friendly and just, was chatting, and he started following me on Instagram. So I'm at Exotica on Friday night, and he sees that I had posted about Exotica. He says, hey, in a DM, he says, hey, my boy is there. No. Go check him out. Apparently, he used King's government name. So I knew that was his friend. I knew that was his friend because he used a government name. How did I know it was his government name? Because King replies back with, "Oh, we're using government names now." I was like, "Oh, that's shit!" King. So I was like, "Oh, I'm for sure gonna go find these people." So sure enough, I get to Exotica on Saturday, and me and Lorenzo, we go over to the booth where they're at and introduce myself, and and then literally from there, I just started meeting the rest of the folks in the Sexpert corner. And at that time, it looked like a harem's tent.
Yeah, so we used to have a 10 by 20, that's the size, 10 by 20. So it was long and kind of shallow. And I used to have a tent over it because I was like, well, let's make this our own little corner. And it felt very cozy. And then we had to stop doing the tent thing because they were like, I think it was Jersey. It was like, no, it wasn't Jersey. It was one of these locations where they were like, you can't do the tent. It's a fire hazard, da-da-da-da-da. I was like, but this booth, never mind. I was like, never mind. I'm not even going to get into that. So, yes, it was very cozy.
It was very cozy. It was very cozy. And I don't know. Every time I get up here talking about somebody, I make point of the fact of met them at Exotica. There's only a handful of people I did not meet at Exotica. Like a tiny, tiny handful. But the funny thing is, the folks who I say met somewhere else, like I said, I met Naomi Banks at Sex Expo.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her at Exotica. And even Sarah J. I actually met her at AVN, but saw her at Exotica, you know? So it's a really small and unique community of people that even if you don't say interact with them on a regular basis, you see each other enough to where, you know, eventually you're going to cross these paths. Eventually.
And it always feels like a family reunion every show.
Yeah.
Every show feels like a family reunion because some people you don't see them for like months at a time. And the first thing I did when I got the job, when Jay called me, I called all my friends. Hey.
I'm going to need you to roll through.
I'm like a plug. Like I know a lot of people in the sex industry, especially educators. And so I was pulling at everybody like, yo, come teach. And now like I'm bringing people who I'm starting to like find out about and get to know into the space. And I have so many great class ideas primed and ready for the shows because each show has a different set of seminars.
Okay, right.
So listen, like we've talked about this at this point. Y'all should be sold on Exotica.
You know what I'm saying? Because literally at 9:31, it's now 10 o'clock.
We had one benediction though.
Okay,
we only had one benediction.
And it's all about Exotica. So anyway, all right. Anyway, I want to thank my beautiful guest, Tyomi. This was so awesome. Again, I don't ever bring people into my like this is my castle, like legit my private sanctuary. I don't bring people in my space because
when I stepped in, I was like, ooh, yes, energy.
See, and that's the thing. You have to be careful of the energy you allow in your space, and this is my space. So I want to just thank you for coming and for blessing me by being next to me for the show. I can't wait to come to Chicago and like just stand right behind you because they won't see me and then pop out.
She does that all the time.
I'm gonna pop out just in time, right?
She does it all the time. Oh, and I got Sexpert Corner has expanded. So
stop it. Okay.
Sexpert Corner has expanded. We got more space.
Oh, I can't wait to see how many more folks she can shove into the space. Because this last year it was busting.
Last year it was busting at the seams. That's why I asked Jay for more space. I was like, sir.
Okay.
We need more space.
Well, you know what they say. You have not because you ask not. So.
Hey. And I have not because I asked.
There we go. So anyway. Thank you. Oh, and so next week I have Ella Dorsey and Miko the Goddess. I met Ella in Miami at Exotica. I'm not necessarily allowed to tell you who she works for, but I met her at Exotica. All right. So I'll let her talk about what she does. But I met her at Exotica. And then Miko the Goddess, I met through Ella at Exotica. So, and let me tell you, Miko, ooh, baby. I am never at a loss for words, right? But the energy was so high octane, I just stood here and held the microphone and let her go. She just, one question, and she was good for 10, 15 minutes. So you have got to see Miko the Goddess. No, yes. She had gold leaf on her bosom. And that was how she covered herself. I couldn't stop looking at her. I was
my goodness.
Yeah, that's what she was wearing when I met her. This gold leaf. I know she had on other stuff, but the gold.
It was the gold leaf for Casey.
I just was like, anyway. This has been another episode of Casey at Night. I don't know whenever again you will have me do a 2-hour episode, but damn it.
It's because of me.
I'm not even apologizing. Fuck it. You know. It's not like I pay for this airtime. Well, I do pay for the Wi-Fi, but I'm just saying, it's not like I had to pay for this, and y'all could come and go as you please. I didn't care if you stayed, because this was an opportunity to have all this conversation with Tyomi, so, because she rolling out like, what, butt-ass crack of dawn.
Butt-ass crack of dawn.
She talk about when she got to return her car. I'm like,
I'm going to the strip club.
Oh.
How?
All right, I gotta go.
You can't come here. You can't come to Atlanta and not go to one strip club. I'm paying some bills tonight. Let's go.
Okay, putting girls through college. Ha. All right, y'all. I'm out. Bye.